ladies and gentlemen, if we're looking at the extent of my enjoyment, it has declined. This is a Monday Night Raw review brought to you by nothing, because this video is not sponsored. So we open with a steel cage match on Raw. It was Biggie versus Kevin Owens in an average steel cage match. It was enjoyable. For what it was, we had, of course, top rope spots leading over the steel cage. There was a big ending over the top rope that pushed over to a near fall. There's more targeting over with the legs. This match was pretty alright. And it was for no title match, no benefit coming out of this. I guess this came into a big grudge involving the match that ended, I think, in a DQ last week. So the match had Seth Rollins on commentary, so we know there's going to be a post-match assault or something, or Rollins trying to cause Kevin Owens a shot to be a major threat for the world title come day one. It ends with with Biggie crawling out of the ring to escape the cage and ending the match. Enjoyable cage match with a predictable ending. Then Lashley pushed out of nowhere, and it took near the third hour for Lashley. Why did you assault the world champion after and everybody else after the steel cage match? It took them 2 hours to think of that. Think of that. Why would you do something as your world champion getting in the cage match on the opening of the show, and then one of the former champions attacking everybody there? That was not the major focus on commentary. That was not the major focus of the show until the second hour. What? Vince didn't even want to just focus upon anything. He was focused on Austin Theory. We'll call him Ace Austin, because he got nothing going for him other than a pedo stash and a Randy Orton 2002 look. So that's it coming from there. Then we had Queef Zelina versus Nikki ASHIT. It was a one-on-one match, and it ends over with a counter from a Code Red for a pinfall, and it ends as short as possible for like 10 minutes, and then we issued into another match. Rhea Ripley just came looking disappointed after the matchup. And this was a match that happened the last week, because one half, to make sure we correlate and make sure that the tag team feud is relevant, one half have to wrestle upon each other to waste for the storyline. No, to expand the feud. You're just wasting TV time at that point if you're just making sure that one half of each other have to wrestle. How come you just don't have promos? Why do they really hate each other? I forgot that they were even that Zelina Vega and Carmella beat them on TV for the women's tag team titles, because they are so irrelevant that you don't even feel like you'll get a pop drop in those belts on pay-per-view. They have that much of a less interest on the women's tag team titles that they primarily drop them more on TV than pay-per-view. I think the last time that we had an important title change for the women's tag team titles, I think it was WrestleMania of 35 or something. Street Profits and AJ Styles and Omos. Well, this is for the RK Bro tournament, and it involved Alpha Academy versus Mysterios. We had the Street Profits and Omos, and they teased over a split up after we had Bland Hot Tag. We had the pseudo boring segments with Riddle being like, "Come on, Randy." I wish there was a close-up. "Come on, Randy. Wear my blazer, Randy." Obviously, whenever I do a comedic segment, the whole crowd goes quiet. So come on, Randy. And I swear, I think it was dead because of the women's match and nobody cared. But Riddle's just so unironically uncomedic because he has such a disorienting character when he's supposed to be this MMA dude that talks shit on Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, and he's coming over making himself a sped retard that Randy Orton got to deal with, and somehow they're that successful that they make their own interim tournament to see who will be the number one contenders for the Raw Tag Team titles. So after Omos was cut high and dry he tried to tag himself in after Styles had a bit of the opportunity on Montez Ford. The Phenomenal Forearm got stopped by Omos trying to tag himself in and trying to get himself and trying to take care of Angelo Dawkins. I was trying to stop him, and then he cost himself an argument with AJ Styles that caused a count out. So at least we got a figurative count out to, I guess, not make the Styles would almost look weaker than possible. So I guess this is the fair way to go with it. And the Street Profits proceed to the next round to face off against who wins the other tag team match. Then we had Dooflop versus Bianca Belair. They're feuding. No, I'm kidding. We have Damian Priest versus Robert Roode for the U.S. title for his Open Challenge, because everybody loves an Open Challenge. The Open Challenge is so amazing, man. It's been so intuitive since John Cena back in 2015. Everybody bring that up. You know he didn't get those guys over all because he beat them every week, right? Styles, like who? Miz, Truth, Ambrose, Rusev multiple times, Kevin Owens. You think that any of these guys other than Kevin Owens became certified stars or still under contract or really boosted themselves? Like, out of most of this, who ever gets elevated when you do an Open Challenge where you're obviously going to consistently win? That never looks good. Especially if you're just in the pseudo mid card. I mean, they could have. People praised it because Cena was already a certified star. But what's the legitimacy over with Damian Priest just doing open challenges, and there's never a creative way that he can lose if he's doing this every week? Like, they're never pushing that he's fatigued, or people capitalize off injury, or other drama getting in the way of this. Like, there's no intrigue doing. And every babyface does this. They're fighting champion. I'm going to bring the legitimacy by letting them fight every week for the belt. That makes no sense to me, bro. And it gets so dull if every other star is going to plan to do that. And it just makes it less interesting when you already know that the guys that they're wrestling for, really you're not going to get that elevated by the belt, bro. It's not going to do much. So we had Robert Roode that hasn't become U.S. champion since what? Like 2017 or 2018? So we have this match. And it was okay. There was a spot over the barricade. Heel kick. These unnecessary top rope moves when Priest is like near 7 foot. Like he's doing spiral, like little clotheslines, looking less authentic like Lance Archer moves. And there was a top rope blockbuster. Roode hit, and there was no reaction over the near fall. There's a counter off a backstabber that Roode still didn't get the win off, and there was a hit with a reckoning. And then, of course, he caught him with his finish for the match, his rip-off Crossroads. Match was alright. I wouldn't rewatch it. All it was a basic wrestling match to make me remember that Robert Roode is part of the roster. They don't even put like storylines or anything on this. Like, how could Damian Priest not be tired doing this every week? Like, there's no gimmick into the Dirty Dogs. Why just name them that? I don't get the fatigue of this. There's no identity. Billy and Chuck is straighter than the Dirty Dogs, and just knowing like. There's nothing to benefit off these open challenges, title number contender bullshits. It makes no sense, man. Dude Hop versus Bianca Belair. And the match was as average as you can put it. Yeah, I'm not really... There was a handspring to just get... I understand that she lost a bit of balance, but you're like 300 pounds to do drop. How do you lose your balance off just some woman wiggling over the ropes off a handspring? There was a dodge drop kick. There was a senton that came over for a near fall. Then there was the moonsault. She didn't do a moonsault. She did some type of splash over the top rope. And there was a gorilla press that looked physically impressive, but yeah, she couldn't handle it, and then it ended up in a count out finish. So Bianca Belair wins over there. So it ends with Bianca winning off count out, obviously showing that Drew Drop Up was overwhelmed. I know they're going to continue this feud out of racism. And I'm still not really intertwined with this feud because there's no really story into this. It could be like Doudrop is jealous that Bianca Belair is such a talent or a hotter commodity than her. Like, give me a reason for me to care. Like, there has to be a rhyme or reason why these guys got a feud other than I don't like you. Why you don't like me? Because you don't represent what I represent. So that means they feud. Honestly, the formula for this is mad inconsistent. It's dull. It's too hashed out for people to care. While we have like in-depth, like 20-minute promos like Miz and Edge, and even whoever wins this, Miz is still going to be in the same level because he's already established as already a top mid-carder, and that's it. We had a Miz TV segment. I don't know why they don't bring back Cutting Edge so Edge can try to get a one-up on Miz and try to like mock him for always doing these hashed out shows that nobody ever rewatch or cares about. And don't get me wrong, the promo segment was good. Always bringing over like you think I was part of that. You think I was part of holding you up. He thought I wasn't in the type of situation that you were on back when you first started in WWE, and being like you walked away, and you gotta look at yourself. You're an ass. Good back and forth. Obviously, Edge looked good while like Miz came up as like a whining bitch, all because he ate outside of the locker room. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's the same promo almost every other week. And how come they don't go over the barbs with him being a Hall of Famer? Miz is Hall of Fame worthy at this point, even though like I feel like he doesn't deserve to accomplish as much as he did. But besides that, I don't know how much chloroform it takes to get Maurice to sign the wedding papers. I mean the marriage papers. I don't know how much of this storyline is really cool, and I'm shocked that they're not doing as much personal barbs as they did. This was a really missed opportunity, and the whole you spend $9,000 on those shoes, my Jordan 3s are better. Every week Edge comes over in casual wear. He wears Jordans other than back in the day where he tried to fit up that rock star look. He always came with the leather jacket, the jeans, the Wrangler jeans, and then he wore some like average dress boots every week. That was Edge's look. And now we got Mysterios against Alpha Academy, and the Mysterios won via Dominic roll up, and then we had, of course, Riddle trying to interview Otis, and he ended up giving him a slam. Then we had T-Bar versus Finn Balor. T-Bar versus Finn Balor. We also had a couple more segments. We had Reginald trying to compliment his way to get the 24/7 title away from, I forgot who still has it. I swear it's Dana Brooke still. And people started chasing her around later on, even though, like, we have no shame pinning a pregnant woman on TV, but we can't pin her because she's a woman. Like, the inconsistencies with this is pretty obvious that everybody that chases the 24/7 title is a pussy. So, that's it. We also had Vince having another talk with Austin Theory and being like, you need to impress me. And Austin Theory thought he wanted to see him showing his abs while doing push-ups. And he goes, stop. Stop it, damn it. Unless you're R-Truth, you can't make me laugh doing that. So next we got Finn Balor versus T-Bar. And by God, this match was so dull. We had like a missile drop kick, a big boot counter. Then there was some kerfuffle, a brouhaha, if you will, over the top rope where T-Bar fell off for the coup de grace. It ended. Then Austin Theory laid off Finn Balor, took a selfie to impress Vince. They didn't go back into the segment with Vince. He just thought that would impress Vince that he attacked Finn Balor. And that's technically it. Because he needs to wrestle a guy his size. So that's how they're going to do the feud. Then we had our main event, before the main event, we also had Lashley. Like, we're 2 hours in, and it took them now to interview Lashley, trying to be like, why would you try to assault the world champion? And it's like everybody trying to make, MVP trying to explain, everybody trying to make their impact and claim their right for the WWE title, and everybody claiming their name to the Almighty. So, that's the explanation. Threatens the rip-off William Regal sounding bitch, and then we had our main event. That was Becky Lynch me against Livy Morgan. And this match came over to Liv Morgan, like, her childhood, how she was brought up, how she was in wrestling, and a pretty well-taped video package, but I'm still not really established like any other person would be like, they were a fan of WWE. They grew up, like, we get it. And the match was the match was pretty good. Like, we had a Meteora, there was a drop kick over from the outside, but Becky Lynch avoided it. Then there was targeting over the leg. There was, like, a lot of near falls over the first couple of minutes. There was this suicide dive that looked as weak as hell because, like, these women are, like, 5 foot. Sliding double knee. Then, as soon as Liv Morgan thought she finished it off with the roll up, it ended with another roll up. But Becky grabbed the rope, so it's obvious that an unclean finish like this, they're gonna continue the feud come day one. So that's the end of the show. Yep. Yeah, so this show was dull. It had a good start with the steel cage match, but you could have just had the women's title match as the opener if that's the case, or have it later in the mid card. Have this tournament involving like four tag teams with no other build, and that's the extent of your entire tag team division. Really show how much of a struggle we are in. If we know Riddle and Orton are gonna hold those belts and do more of those goddamn segments. That match in the main event did not elevate Liv Morgan in any way. Liv Morgan is a bit dying on me. Don't get me wrong, she's a cute chick. She's really cute. But that doesn't mean that she's over. That didn't deserve to be the main event. And hopefully they do build over Lashley, because even though I think Biggie and Rollins would be a nice match, please just add Owens and Lashley so we can get an entertaining 4-way. Rollins isn't a superstar, and so isn't Biggie. And just pushing that over to a pay-per-view that we don't even get the gist of, you need as much drama as possible to even sell that on pay-per-view. So that's the extent of me actually trying to enjoy myself and doing these stupid reviews again. Other than that, that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and thanks for 136 subs. Let's go to 140, or I will watch more wrestling. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching.